to our local edition. Brad Pomerance here. We are joined today by Steve Napolitano. He is a nominee for a seat on the Board of Supervisors in Los Angeles County. Wow. Wow, that's all I can say. He was running in the primary against a sitting U.S. Congresswoman. Yes. Folks anticipated that she would win outright, but Steve Napolitano said no.
We pulled off a bit of an upset there, yes.
A bit of an upset, so you are now in a runoff against the sitting Congresswoman. Yes. And how'd you do it, man? I mean, congrats.
We worked hard.
Right.
We got out there city by city, like this election is won, and we
tell
talked
us
to the people.
about the 4th District for our viewers statewide.
The 4th District, like LA County itself, is
right.
huge. We go from the mountains to the sea, from Marina del Rey on the west and north, basically the southeast and southwest corner.
All those great beach cities, Manhattan Beach, Redondo Beach.
The beach cities to Palos Verdes Peninsula to San Pedro to Long Beach, then all the way in from there to Diamond Bar.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
each district, there's 5 districts in LA County, each district has 2 million people in it.
Which is stunning in its scope.
Yeah.
I remember a few years ago, I had the honor of being the MC at Mark Ridley Thomas's swearing in, Supervisor Mark Ridley Thomas, and we were writing the speech, and I learned that if LA County were a state with 10 million residents, it'd be bigger than Michigan.
We're bigger than all but 42 states
right.
in the nation in terms of population.
And then if you consider a district of 2 million, I mean, you're bigger than probably 10 states.
We'd be the 17th largest state in the nation.
So how do you manage, presuming victory, being a representative for 2 million people?
Well, it's what I do now, right? I work for Supervisor Kanabe. I'm a senior deputy. I've been with him for 10 years, and so I represent him in the South Bay and beyond.
Right.
And the things that I oversee for him take me all parts of the district.
And I want to talk to you about your tenure with Supervisor Kanabe, who, by the way, is not running. He is termed out.
He's termed out.
And I understand he is a supporter of your candidacy.
He has endorsed me.
And so I want to get a sense from you, what has your 10 years working for the current supervisor, same district, same lines, how does that inform you as you campaign and assuming potential victory?
Well, I'll tell you, I learn from the best, right? It's really putting people and communities first. That's what he does. That's what I've done with him for 10 years. And it's getting out among them, not just sitting in an office, but going out to the communities, knowing what the issues are, knowing who the people are, knowing who the leaders are, talking with them, getting a feel for it, their needs, their issues, and then addressing them.
And I must say that Mr. Kanabe is the metaphoric mayor. Yes. I mean, whether you agree with him or not, he is out and about, and he is the supervisor for his communities. Do you hope to follow in those footsteps, kind of be the metaphoric mayor?
Absolutely. To me, this is all about solving problems and serving people. And it's about getting out there and being part of it. But it's not about headlines. A lot of politicians are just about headlines for themselves. It's really about solving problems. LA County is big, but it's still local government.
And let's talk about local government, because you would also come to the board having been a sitting council member in a very, very beautiful city known as Manhattan Beach. Tell us about how that informs you.
Well, I got elected at the age of 26, the youngest person elected to the Manhattan Beach City Council, because I was concerned about the direction of the city and where it was going. I didn't think the current council was listening, so I ran. Other people agreed. I got elected. I served there for 3 terms. But again, it's all about solving problems and putting community first, putting people first, knowing what the issues are, and then listening and addressing them.
I want to speak about the district more generally and LA County more specifically. These, it's simultaneously the best of times and the worst of times. Here we are coming out of a recession. We have the Expo line being extended. We have the Gold line being extended. The Blue line is great all the way into your district. Lots of people are thriving, but there's a chunk of our society that is really struggling.
Yes.
And I speak specifically about the homeless. And what's most remarkable about this current homeless crisis is that our homeless neighbors are our neighbors because the homeless are everywhere. They're not just in Skid Row. They're in San Pedro. I was just visiting Manhattan Beach. Literally, they're in Manhattan Beach.
Oh, yeah. No, there's no, it doesn't matter what your zip code is, what your demographics are. Homelessness is now across LA County, and it was before swept into a place called Skid Row.
Right.
And it was supposed to be taken care of there, but it was also kind of out of sight, out of mind for folks.
But what's happening? I mean, we're in a recovery. Why are we now the homeless capital of America? 50,000 homeless in LA County. It's a county of 10 million. That's a significant percentage. My math isn't that good, but that's a decent percentage.
Well, it's what you read about every day, though. The recovery just has not hit everybody. And in addition to that, you've got mental health issues, you have addiction issues, and these have exacerbated themselves. And the fact that there's very little affordable housing in Los Angeles County anymore. We're tens of thousands of units short of where we should be. And when you talk about affordable housing, there's less than 3% vacancy rate in LA
I want
County.
to talk about that because you bring up an excellent point. California's chief legislative analyst has said that California is in a crisis when it comes to housing. We're about 250,000 new units a year short. And then when you think about coastal communities, it gets even more dramatic. And I mean, you said it, in LA County, I'm just looking at some June numbers, the rental vacancy rate dropped to 2.7%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough. And what does that do? You know better than I. It puts pressure on
Prices
rents.
go up.
Rents go up. And then what I've learned, I'm a wealth of irrelevant information, when rents go up, you have landlords less willing to take, I guess, Section 8 housing, which helps those that may be of lower income.
Or they're just not available. We've got, there's a couple thousand people out there right now with vouchers, and these are automatic payments to landlords. It's a direct deposit into their bank account, so it's a great program. But even with 2,000 people with vouchers in there, there's not the units available. They're just not there.
Vouchers, I understand in some cases, aren't at a level that's sufficient to meet the quoted price for the rent.
Depending on where you look,
Of course.
yes. But some of those areas, and in the areas that take Section 8 housing, though, there should be, but they're just not, physically there's more people than there are units available.
I want to ask you, since you've worked for the county for 10 years, about the finger pointing that may have gone on in the past as it relates to homelessness. There was a lot of finger pointing between LA City and LA County, and nothing was getting done. We do have a joint service authority now, I guess, with regard to homelessness. But do you feel like the finger pointing between the county and the city are behind us on homeless questions?
I think so, and whether it actually is or not, it needs to be. And there's finger pointing, though, among a lot of different levels of government and a lot of different cities, because there was always the accusation that one city was dumping their homeless on another city, basically busing them over. In this instance, though, I think we've reached a point where every community realizes this is a huge issue, it needs to be addressed, and so we're working together, state, county, and local.
Let's talk about that notion of we don't want homeless in our community. I mean, a year or two ago, there were discussions about creating homeless centers throughout the county. That didn't go very well.
No.
I mean, some of our more well-heeled communities were apoplectic about it. But what do? We're one LA County.
Well, it's similar to the idea of affordable housing, though, and it's that we need a mix across the county. It can't just be, we're going to make affordable low-income housing here, because we've seen the results where you just concentrate low-income housing.
You know better.
You need a mix across the whole
You come with
spectrum.
excellent perspective. You live in Manhattan Beach. I can't imagine your neighbors in Manhattan Beach want a homeless service center.
I don't think we're going to get homeless center. We're going to get affordable housing with supportive services with them. And just like we do out in the marina where we have an affordable housing policy, I think it's going to be a matter of providing those in the same area. But it's an area where government is going to have to, I think, purchase some of the properties so that we cut a deal with the developer. We need public-private partnerships here. We don't let people build anything anymore.
Well, that's another conversation. You'll come back and talk about it?
Yes.
Promise?
Yes.
He is Steve Napolitano. He is a nominee for a seat on the Board of Supervisors in Los Angeles County. I'm Brad Pomerance. Bit of a head cold today, but I'm still glad to be with you on Charter Local Edition.